right, guys, I think we are live. I know I mention this every week, but there's like some kind of a delay before it tells. I think we actually go live before it tells me that we're live. And so I'm always tempted to like start talking but then I worry, oh, maybe we aren't live, and I don't know. It's crazy. Technology. But it looks like we are good to go. I am going to scroll down there. Got some people saying, good morning, I'm live. Woohoo! Happy Friday, everybody. Oh my gosh. There are so much exciting things happening. There are so many exciting things happening. Some of which we're going to be talking about on the call today. Others, I can't tell you yet. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I just love you guys so much. I am just so in awe and blessed and full of gratitude that I landed here where I am. You know, I had tried, for those of you who don't know my story, you know, back in the day, back in my former life, before marriage and kids, I worked for a medical software company, and I did training and development for this medical software company for their proprietary software. I traveled to hospitals around the country teaching the software, and then I moved in-house and managed the people that were going out there and developed internal training programs because it was proprietary software. So people couldn't come to our company automatically knowing how to use it. And so all the new hires, you know, would have to come through my training programs to learn, you know, like what it is that we do exactly. And so I did that until I got my dream job of being a stay-at-home mom. I did that for 20 years. And then I was hit with a surprise, shocking divorce. And when it first happened, I just had like this rush of adrenaline. Like I was just like, oh my gosh. And I reached out to my whole network and I was like, okay, I got to get a job. Like I'm back on the market. And I just thought like, I'm still smart, you know, like I'm still me. I'm still, you know, like I could go back to my old job tomorrow, you know? And, but it turns out that when you're a middle-aged woman with a 20-year gap in your resume, people aren't that interested, especially when we're talking about technology, because, you know, in 20 years, technology grows and changes and all that stuff. So I had tried to get a job in training and development, and I just couldn't find one. And that's how I turned to bookkeeping. That's like, okay, well, maybe I'm good with numbers. Maybe I'll just be a bookkeeper. And I remember when I first put out, or I can't remember if I was thinking about putting it out or I had put it out. But I was in the process of like my very first course to help people with the basic certification. And I remember talking to my mentor on the phone. And he asked me, you know, like what my ultimate goal was, you know, like, did I just want to be a trainer, or am I going to be a bookkeeper trainer? Or am I going to like train small businesses or whatever? And I remember just saying, oh my gosh, like if I could just do training and not do the bookkeeping, like that would be amazing. That would be such an amazing life. And here I am. And it was only like 4.5 years later. So, it's just mind blowing to me. And we just keep getting better. And so many oh my gosh, guys, so many exciting things are just around the corner. And I just cannot wait. Oh, I can't wait. But we've got exciting things happening right now, and including this live stream. So we're going to get to it. So if you are live on this call right now, then you know much of the stuff that I'm going to tell you. But so I have to do like my little intro though for the people who watch it on YouTube and don't know what a special group we have. So my name is Margie Remmers-Davis, and I am the founder of Fast and Easy QBO. And this is the weekly live stream that we do inside our free Facebook group called the QBO Gym Locker Room. The locker room is your spot for hands-on practice using QuickBooks Online. Like, this is what we do. We are all about hands-on learning. I just ran across a quote the other day from Ben Franklin. I don't know if it was actually Ben Franklin, but that's what the meme said. And it was something like, teach me and I forget, or tell me and I forget, teach me and I learn, I don't know, and then involve me and I learn, or something like that. Anyway, it was so perfect because that's exactly, like, that's our philosophy. Our philosophy is learning by doing. You can't ride a bicycle by watching a YouTube video, right? You have to actually do it. And that's how we feel about QuickBooks Online and software in general, okay? So as a member of the locker room, then you have access to a free Getting Started course. Now, the free Getting Started course is going to teach you how to get your free QuickBooks Online accountant account, what an accountant account is even, and how it's different from the regular QBO subscriptions that people pay for. It teaches you how to get that account, how to sign up for it, and how to use it, like some basic navigation, terminology, workflows, so we're going to give you some hands-on experience with it to kind of lay the foundation. That's free for anybody in the locker room. So if you're watching the recording, join the locker room, you get this course for free. If you're watching this live, if you are in the locker room and you haven't accessed your Getting Started course, you didn't know you had a Getting Started course, email support@fastandeasyqbo.com and they will help you. They'll help you access it and find out where it is. It was emailed to you like right when you joined, but you know what happens to email. Junk, spam, promotions, it gets lost, whatever. So if you need that, that's what you need to do. Okay. So also as a member of the locker room, you have access to over 100 absolutely free exercises. And people are always asking me, where do I get the free exercises? So here's what you do is pinned in the featured section. Okay. So we have a featured section. If you're on your phone, you might have to hit the little hamburger to find it, but it's usually like up on top. There is a featured section and there is a welcome post that says, welcome to the locker room. And inside this post is the link to the free exercises. Okay. So, also as a member of the locker room, you get to participate in this live stream, which is Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern. And on the live stream, you get a free exercise of the week. The exercise of the week is actually part of our QBO Gym, which is a paid subscription product. So that's different than the locker room. The locker room is free. The gym is a paid subscription product. The gym solves the problem of how do I get experience without a job? I can't get a job without experience. So this was built because we heard so many people say, oh, I got certified, but I don't really know what I'm doing. So the QBO Gym gives you a full year of simulated experience actually being a bookkeeper. Okay, so all of you guys who say, oh, like I really wish I could work for a bookkeeper and see what it's like, or I wish I could get an internship or whatever it's like. That's what the QBO Gym is. You actually get to be a bookkeeper in this simulated environment. You get to do it for a whole year. We're building out year 2, so there's actually about a year and a half worth of content. Each month takes approximately 3 to 4 hours to do. So you can get an entire year's worth of experience in about 42 real-time hours, okay? So in about 42 real-time hours, you can have a year's worth of experience, and you can actually say, we give you a certificate, and you can actually say, yes, I have a year's worth of experience using QBO, okay? Now, everything that you do in QBO is linked to your Booksmatch account. Booksmatch, and Lindsay, as I see she's on the call today, she says listening while waiting for her daughter. Anyway, Lindsay happens to be the top person today, so she gets highlighted here on the live stream. But the everything that you do in the QBO gym is tied to your Booksmatch profile. And oops, I keep forgetting my cursor in the wrong place. Okay. Is tied to your Booksmatch profile. So we're actually tracking what you are doing, what you're learning, what skills you are verifying. And so in this case, Lindsay has verified, but she's kicking butt. She's verified 394 skills, and they are divided into these 10 skill groups. So I can click and see troubleshooting, for example, is a skill group. And so we can see, well, she's dealt with negative inventory. She has troubleshot reports. She's found reconciliation discrepancies. And so these are the skills that she has actually done hands-on, not watched a video and taken a test, but she has actually done these things. And then you can see how she compares to everyone that's active in the gym. So she's our top person here, and so her score is way up high. Okay. Now, what happened was we developed the gym for you guys, because like I said, we heard all these people say, I need experience. Like I want to be an intern, or I want to work for somebody, or okay, I passed my test, but I don't actually know what I'm doing. Okay. So the QBO gym was designed to solve that problem. But then we realized that, oh, actually we have something really valuable here. We have highly trained, skilled bookkeepers. And so we now can show you off to the world by you doing the work. Okay, so this is not a resume that you just wrote about yourself, although you can put in, a bio. It's not about us just passing a test, although you can add your certifications that you've passed the test. This is, oh, look, this person actually knows what they're doing. And I just spoke to somebody yesterday who said, oh yeah, my brother uses your service and he loves it because the people he gets actually know what they're doing. And I said, what? Have him write a testimonial. What? I had no idea that he was doing this, and that you guys are working for him. And anyway, so yeah. So Elise says, tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn. Thank you. I thought it was a Chinese proverb, not Ben Franklin. I don't know why somebody put that it was Ben Franklin. Anyway, so anyway, my point is that we now, if you're an active member of the gym, there's a little toggle and you can say that you are open to work. Well, if you are open to work, then what we need to do is we rank you, and we do that by 3 specific metrics. The metrics are, number 1 is knowledge. Okay, so knowledge is your breadth of skills. Notice it says here 394. Okay, so this is your breadth of knowledge, all of the skills, all of the skill groups, or whatever. Okay. So we're going to rank you based on your knowledge. Okay. The problem with that is it means that somebody who is brand new somebody who is brand new is not going to have a huge amount of knowledge. So what we track to balance that out is also your speed. Now your speed, and that's this third one here, your speed is not how quickly you get through an exercise. Your speed is how many skills you have achieved in a particular week. Okay, so that's one of the metrics, is speed and knowledge. But the most important metric is actually your consistency. The reason we built this in is because when we were developing this, we were working with a recruiter who said that her biggest frustration and time waster was when she would reach out to people and discover that they already had a job, that they already had something, that they weren't looking anymore. And she's like, oh my gosh, if you could, what she wanted a weekly check-in. She's like, I want them to just check in every week, say, yes, I'm still open to work. Yes, I'm still open to work. And we said, well, we can do better than that. Instead of that, how about we actually make them do an exercise? We thought every week was a little excessive. So we want you to do at least one exercise every 14 days. And that just refreshes you and makes sure that you are still like looking for work. So we take these three metrics, we put them into a ranking. So Lindsay here today is exceptional talent, and you'll see, and that means all three are green, but all three are not always going to be green. If you've been around for a long time, there's not a lot for you to do. There will be for like a second when we release more, but most of the time there's not going to be a lot. So you still have a high ranking even if your speed is low. And the opposite is true, is that if your speed is high but your knowledge is low, that's okay. That just means you're new. As long as your speed is high, that means you're kicking butt and you really want this and you're really, working toward it. Okay? So that, because we want you to have high consistency, we want you to keep working, that's why we have an exercise of the week, which is for, that's not what I wanted, which is for our paying members of the gym. But it's also a nice little benefit. Just as a member of the locker room, you can come in here and you can do it with us. You can do the exercise of the week. You can get it. You don't get the Booksmatch credit, but you can still, be working and get more stuff. And not only do you get the skill, we'll get the marketing prompt, which I'll cover at the end. Okay. So today's exercise is about sales summaries. So right in here, we're going to go in. This is the exercise. Oh, I forgot to mention about the exercise of the week that the exercise of the week is a separate course from the gym. It's like comes with the gym, but it's separate in your dashboard. And it's unlocked after you earn 250 points in the gym. Okay, so as you're working in the gym, and I'll just go back here. As you're working in the gym, it's all gamified. So every time you do something, and there's quizzes and all this stuff, but when you do it, so here's an exercise, and I click this, it goes ka-ching, and you get like points and a woohoo, and all that. So once you have gained 250 points, then the exercise of the week will unlock for you. Okay. The reason we don't unlock it until 250 is because we want you to, there's so much other work. You don't need it until you're full, but so many people ask for it. So we compromise. We're like, okay, we'll give you 250. We'll give it to you at 250. Okay. All right. So here I am. Inside the exercise of the week, here's the one that we're working on today, and we're going to practice using sales summaries. Okay. Now, this is a very advanced skill. Okay, and this is actually something that you're tested on in the advanced certification test. If you're brand new and you are just learning QBO, this might be a little bit overwhelming. I would encourage you to just sit back and watch and absorb as much as you can, knowing that you can always come back to it later and it will make more sense. I always felt when I was, coming up and learning, I always felt that awareness is half the battle. If you are aware that this is something you might have to do, then it just kind of files back in the brain. And then like when it comes time for you to actually use it, you go, oh yeah, I learned about that. Like, how exactly do I do that again? And you can come back to the exercise and do it again. That's the great thing about the hands-on exercises, because you can come back and you can actually do it versus all the other training that's out there. You either have to read about it or watch a video about it. You can actually, with our programs, you actually get to do it and practice it, and they're, oh, okay. And then you can, go do it for a client or explain it to a client or whatever. Okay. All right. So let's talk about sales summaries. The scenario here is Craig has started selling items online, and he asked you to help him record a summary of his daily sales into QBO from his online reports, which include total sales for the day for each individual product. Okay. Randy says, how do we find individual exercises that we've already covered? Is there a search feature? Yes, there is a search feature. And I think Lindsay actually is the one that told me that about how to use the search feature, because I didn't even realize. But you can go up to past exercises right here and it'll pull up the whole list. Okay. So that's in the exercise of the week. In the regular gym, not the exercise of the week, in the regular gym, at the top, it says choose your workout. And then here is a link to a spreadsheet that has all of the exercises in the regular gym. Okay. But the exercise of the week, going to past exercises, this is how it pulls up the ones, because the reason that Randy's asking is because when you click these, not in mine because I'm an admin, I think it probably disappears. Does it disappear so that you don't even see it anymore? I don't know, maybe. All right, so going back to our exercise. All right, so here is sales summary. So Craig is selling items online. Okay, here's the deal. I'm going to take off my screen share for a second because, Randy says it does disappear. So that's why they're asking. Okay. All right, so I just want to kind of lay the groundwork for what we're talking about here, okay, when we're talking about sales summaries. So kind of what you're used to using QBO for is, maybe up to this point, is if you are sending invoices, okay, if you're sending invoices to a person, then that means you're emailing a thing, they have an amount of time to pay, and you're handling all of that right in QuickBooks Online, okay? And we also have a sales receipt, which is payment at the time of the sale. That's the difference between a sales receipt and an invoice. A sales receipt is payment at the time of the sale. Invoice is you're going to pay later, or your customer is going to pay later. Okay. So if you think, for example, like your utility bill. Okay. So you get a bill for, gas and electric, and you have 30 days to pay before we turn off your power, right? Whatever. Okay. So that's an example of, that's the opposite, like you receiving it, in which case it's a bill, but that's like a two-part thing. That's like you have it and then you have a period of time. But if you go to Home Depot and buy some lumber, you're paying for it right then. Okay. So a sales receipt is payment right then at the time of the sale. But if somebody's primary business is some kind of retail establishment, whether it's a restaurant or a nail salon, or even like an e-commerce business where they have, some kind of a storefront like that, there's far more that they need to keep track of than what QBO is capable of. So they typically have what's called a point of sale system, okay? A POS. And the POS is when you go to Home Depot, that's what you are, paying. Or you go to a restaurant, you're like putting your stuff into this, POS system, okay? So point of sale system. Now, that point of sale system then has to send the information over to QBO. Some of them will, automatically link, but some of them, they automatically link, but it doesn't capture exactly what you need. It's not good, whatever. And so a lot of times you have to enter those sales manually into QBO. Okay. Now, if you have a nail salon and you service 100 customers a day, that would be a lot of sales receipts to manually put in QBO, right? That would be a lot. So typically you don't enter every single one. You do instead a daily summary. So you just are doing totals, okay? So you're doing how many manicures did we do? How many pedicures did we do? How many waxings did we do? Okay, whatever. Sorry guys, if if the nail salon example doesn't resonate with you, okay? So anyway, so you're just putting in a summary. So one of the questions I asked in the beginning was like, well, why would we put it in at all? Like, why don't they just do everything in the point of sale system? And the reason is because the POS is only tracking income. And so we need QBO to track expenses, to connect to the bank, to make sure that everything is flowing correctly, and to be able to put everything together and run reports. Okay. So that's why we do a daily sales summary. And it's really not that big of a deal. Okay. I used to do this for my business all the time when I first started as a training business, and I had, I would sell X number of this course in a day and X number of this course in a day. Right. So I would take my, because like when you buy courses from me, you're not paying via QBO, right? You're paying through another interface. So I used to have to go, and it's not that big of a deal. In fact, my team had to take it like kicking and screaming. I mean, here I am teaching bookkeeping and my team has taken away bookkeeping because I have to be the CEO. But like, I love it. I love reconciling was the last thing for me, because I was like, I just love reconciling so much. But luckily I still get to do reconciling for my personal accounts. So anyway, my point is this. It's not a big deal if you have to put in a daily sales summary. It's not a big deal. You get the report from the whatever system, and then you enter it. And that's what we're going to do today. Now, it does require some setup. And what we're doing today is Intuit's version of this. Okay. So what do I mean by that? Let me share my screen again. Okay. You'll notice that this is a Pro Advisor challenge. Okay. The Pro Advisor challenges are sort of exercises that Intuit has sprinkled throughout their free training that you can get as an accountant. Okay. This tells you where to find it. I'm just going to show you quickly. Here I am in an accountant account. You can tell that I'm in an accountant account because it says accountant up here at the top, because the left navigation bar is gray, and because it's divided into your practice and your books. Okay. So if you're in an accountant account, then you have an option here that says Pro Advisor, and you can go to training. And this is where all of the training all of the on-demand training, this is where it can all be found, okay? So this is the home screen. The personalized path is where you answer some questions about what your goals are, and then it feeds you the courses that you need to go through for that. The certification hub is where you go to take your certification test if you want to do that, and also where you find your certifications. You know, if you want to get your certificate, your badge, what all that, if you want to look up like when you have to renew, like all that stuff happens in the certification hub. And then the training library is just like the dump of all of the training. Okay, so personalized path is the filtered version. Training library is where everything is. Okay. So you'll notice that it starts with product training, and QuickBooks Online is the one that's automatically open. So I'm just going to see how there's this little arrow. So I'm going to just close this. I don't have to click on the arrow. I can click anywhere in the row. They have training for QuickBooks Online, payments, payroll, and time. But then they also have other training that's not product related, foundational skills, client advisory, tax, etc. Okay, so there's a lot of resources available for you. We're going to be dealing with inside QuickBooks Online, and then they have these different tiles, which are groupings of lessons based on this type of thing. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our exercise. Okay, what we are looking at is this skill is a sales and customer skill. So we're going to go to sales and customers. This one right here. Sorry, my little highlighter doesn't like to follow me down here. Sales and customers. Okay, and then you'll notice that there are even more subsections. So there's beginner skills, intermediate, and advanced. Advanced is already open. Let's go ahead and open up intermediate so we can just see. You'll notice that there's this little badge here. This little badge, if you highlight it on it, it'll say tested in the QuickBooks Online exam. So that's how you know what's on the basic level exam. That's the first level. They call it core. And then advanced skills is, if you highlight it, you notice it says tested in the advanced QuickBooks Online exam. So that's how you know what's on what test. Okay, so here we are, we're in advanced skills, and my guess is we're going to be right here, sales summary. Okay, number 7, sales summary section. Okay, so this is just if you want to do it with Intuit. Okay, if you want to find this again through Intuit. So if you're going to scroll on the right hand side, it says topics. You notice it says Pro Advisor Challenge. Sometimes when I click on it, it'll take me right there. Boom, it did today. Other times you have to click through some things in order to get to the Pro Advisor Challenge. But this one, apparently we can go straight to it. And so then it tells you basically how to load the sample company, what your the task is, what we call the scenario. This is what I just read to you. Craig has started selling items online. He asked you to help him record a summary of his daily sales. Okay, all right. And then they just tell you how to know if you did it right. Okay, and then the solution part is them telling you step by step. So we prefer our method for teaching this, which is why we have our own, which looks like this. And so this is the one we're going to follow. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is you need to load the sample company. So here I am in my QBO A account. I'm going to click the gear icon. They're now calling it the settings cog for whatever reason. And but for years, people have called it the gear icon. And I'm going to click sample company. And when I click this sample company, it will log me out of my current company. This is important because remember I showed you where the certification hub is, and that's where you go to take the test. If you load the sample company while you are in the middle of the test, you will lose the test, okay? So even though it's an open book test, you don't want to do that. So if you take our courses, we'll teach you how to have them both open at the same time, okay? In fact, I think maybe it's in the free Getting Started course where we talk about how to have them open at the same time. But for our purposes, today, all we need is a sample company. So that's what we're going to do, okay? So I'm not taking the test, so I don't need my regular account, okay? Alrighty, so, all right, so Craig's Design and Landscaping is our best friend. This is our sample company that we use to do all of our exercises, not all of them, but most of our exercises are in the sample company like this. And if you are using Google Chrome, all of our exercises are created. Oh, I think Tara made that mistake. She loaded the sample company and lost her test. Yikes. So all of our exercises are created using a tool called Scribe, and Scribe has a free Google Chrome extension. You can search for it, and it looks like this. It's got this symbol. It's called Scribe AI Documentation, SOPs, and Screenshots. And if you are using Scribe, they have this cool thing called Sidekick. So I can hover over, why is this one up here? And usually the Guide Me is later. I don't know. But anyway, I can click Guide Me, and it will load both the, oh man, is it not working again today? It will load both the sample company and the exercise side by side at the same time. But for some reason today it doesn't seem to want to. Let me click on, I've gotten it to work before by clicking the little icon. So I click this little icon here and it says confirm, and there we go. So that's what you have to do if you want it. Why did it say can't find the page requested? I don't know. I'm in the sample company, so I'm just going to hit the home. I don't know what happened there. Okay. I wish I could tell you this some exciting news, but I can't tell you yet. Okay. Let's just say it resolves this problem. Okay. All right. So here we are with the exercise on the right-hand side and the sample company on the left. Now, when you are doing this, okay, as I mentioned, what you will do is you will get a report from the other system, okay, from your POS system, from like e-commerce, like whatever you're using. It's sometimes called a Z report, a Z out report. When I was doing it, for me, I think it was just called the sales summary, like daily sales, whatever it is. Okay, so you'll have this report. Now, in order to do this exercise, you need this report. So we have links here for you to download. And I want you to, even though the exercise has this one first, I want you to look at this one first, the Z-tape report. You do, by the way, get to practice this in the gym too. So we have every month of the gym has a particular theme, and so one of the in one of the months Craig decides to sell some stuff at a flea market, and so you guys get to practice this also. Sometimes you can't demonstrate, Randy says, sometimes you can't demonstrate something while you're broadcasting. Not sure the whys and wherefores of that, but I've heard that from other content creators. Yeah, I don't know. All right. So, all right. So this is the Z out report. I'm going to make it bigger here so you can see it. Okay. So they have theirs in a spreadsheet, which I feel like is a little bit more, is a little bit harder to read, but in the gym, ours looks a little bit more fancy. Okay. So let's take a look at it. Okay. So in this case, what he's done, they said he's done some online sales, and he's sold some stuff. So he's now selling these garden gnomes. He's selling 18-inch garden gnomes, and he's selling 24-inch garden gnomes. This is how many he sold. Okay, so he sold 10 of them and 24 of them. And this is how much he charged for them. Okay, so this is how much he should have received. Okay, he is charging sales tax here, or he has to charge sales tax. Okay, so it's 8% sales tax. So this is the total according to the system. According to the POS system, this is what he sold. Okay, and then down here, tender, this is what he collected. Okay, so this is what one is what he sold, the other is what he collected. Okay, and so he collected $1,241. Can you see that? The total here, 1,000 plus 241. Okay, that's how much he collected. Here is how much he sold. Notice something? It's $1 off. Okay, when you're just starting out, why did they give you an exercise where you have to adjust this? Like, it seems to me if you're just learning a thing, you need to learn the basic simple stuff, and then once you've got the basic simple stuff, okay, now I know how to do a sales summary. Now let me make it a little bit more complicated and say, okay, so now what happens if you didn't collect that? Well, Intuit didn't do that. They decided to throw at you this different total. So we're going to talk about how to handle it. You're going to learn in this exercise how to handle it. Okay. But here's the important things I wanted to point out. Number one is we've got 2 garden gnomes. Okay. So we have to create products for garden gnomes. Right now, the sample company doesn't have these garden gnomes as a product. So we have to create these products. Okay. And luckily, Intuit has given us a products and services import. So we're going to import these products. So you're going to learn how to do importing in this. So we're going to import the products. Okay. And then once we've imported the products, then we're going to actually add the sales receipt. And there are a couple of things that we're going to do that. Okay. So let's go down next to the products and services. Okay. So we're going to have to, next we're going to download this products and services spreadsheet. All right. So what do we have here? We have garden gnomes, 18-inch. Okay. This is the product and service name. This is the type, okay? This is the sales price. Yes, it's taxable. This is the income account, okay? So if you're new, what this means is every time I sell one of these gnomes, what income account am I reporting? So on my profit and loss, the income is on that list. And what do I want to call it? What type? Maybe I have a separate line item for figurines or lawn ornaments, or, like maybe I have some kind of descriptive thing like that. Or in this case, we just say sales of product income. So sales of product, which would be in contrast to sales of services. Okay. So in this case, it looks like we have different, we have a product income. Okay. Now, this is also an inventory product. So we're also going to track how much it costs us to buy them. Now, that's part of the this part of the import, but it's not part of the exercise, okay? But that's what you're seeing here is how much it costs for us to buy them. The expenses account, what are we tracking them under? So we purchase them for $2.50. We sell them for $25. That's a pretty good margin, okay? And what's the initial quantity on hand? 100, okay? All this other stuff is related to them being inventory products, which is not, excuse me, it's not part of the exercise, okay? It's not part of the exercise, but we still need to know, okay? So we also have, we have to set up services for the individual product, the tender, like how we received that. And we're not actually going to do that. So we're not going to worry about that right now. You'll see why when we do the exercise. But anyway, so that's what the spreadsheet looks like. And that's what we're going to do first is we're going to import it. Okay. So here we are, step 2. We're going to click the gear icon or settings cog, if that's what they're calling it. Okay. We're going to click the gear icon. In step 3, we're going to click import data. Okay. And then we say, oh, what do we want to import? Oh, mine probably, so I have this little drop down here instead of the pictures, probably because I just don't have enough room. Let me see if did they change it? Ooh, maybe they changed it. Is that what it looks like now? Is everyone getting that? Let's see, what if I make it smaller? Wow. Okay. Interesting. All right, well, you're the first to see it. We've got a new screenshot. We have to we have to replace all of our screenshots for importing. Ah! Okay. Joel, if you could make a note that we need to send that to the team about updating the picture for all the pictures for importing. Okay. All right. So, but we are importing products and services. So we're going to click the down arrow and do products and services. This is one of the many reasons many reasons that I love doing the live stream is because I get to see all of these little things. Randy says job security. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Okay, so we've got a different little thing here. Let's see what happens when we click import. Are they going to get us, how do we get our file? Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we had to click import first. So they made us do 2 buttons instead of in the past it was 1 button. Okay, that's kind of, I'll call it silly. Maybe another S word is what I really wanted to say. Okay, so now what we're wanting to do is we're going to find that file that they gave us. Okay, if you've never imported anything before, one thing that's cool is that they always give you a sample file so that you know how it should be formatted if you want to import stuff. And frequently in our exercises and courses, we use the sample file. But in this case, we're not, because we're using that file that Intuit gave us. Okay, so we're going to go to Browse, and we're going to find, oh wow, now you can see all the stuff that's on my screen. We're going to find the P&S spreadsheet. That's kind of tiny. You might not be able to see it. That's the file. We just downloaded 2 files, the Z-out and the P&S. Okay, so the P&S is the one that we want to import. Okay, so we're going to open that. Okay, and it says right here on the screen, on your computer, locate the file, okay, which we just talked about. Okay, so now you'll see that it is right here. Okay, and now we're going to click, not browse, we're going to click next. Okay, now, whenever you're importing, the first thing that you want to do is match the headers. Okay, so these are the column headers. You want to make sure that the column headers match a field in QBO. They're like, okay, which field does it go in? It's this field. Okay, so if we're going to look, we look on the left hand side, this column is the QuickBooks Online field, and this column is the title that's in the spreadsheet. Now they created the spreadsheet, so these should be all pretty much exactly the same. Okay, and this one, there isn't a field. See, it says no match. Okay, here's the list of these are all of the column headings in that. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it no match. It's fine. Okay. All right, so then we click next. So what we just did was we matched field to field. Okay, this is the column in the spreadsheet. This is the field in QuickBooks Online. Now, the next step is to confirm the contents of the field. Okay, so now we just did the columns. Now we're doing the rows. Okay, so we're looking at the rows, and this should look very familiar. This is what we just saw in our, this is what we just saw when we looked at the spreadsheet. We saw the 2 garden gnomes. Okay, so you can't see it, but there's the 18-inch one. There's the 24-inch one. Okay, it also had the services for MasterCard and Visa. Okay, the garden gnomes are inventory, the sales price. So you'll notice, so this should look exactly like what we just saw when we looked at the spreadsheet. That's why it's always important to look at the spreadsheet first. That way, when you get here, you're like, oh yeah, this is familiar. This looks right. Okay. All right, so let's see what it says about the MasterCard and Visa, because I can't remember how we handled this. All right, one final screen. Here, let me make it bigger so you can see it. There we go. One final screen will appear before the import, showing all the details of the file being imported. Okay, this can always be adjusted if necessary. Oh, that's a good point. You're not using like just what's in the spreadsheet. Okay, so it's in the spreadsheet first. Then when you're at this stage, you can change anything that you want. Okay. Note that there are red boxes in the quantity fields for MasterCard and Visa indicating an error. Since these are not products and there are no quantities, this is fine. If they were products, you would want to take a closer look at them before importing. Okay, so these are services. And I think that I may have said earlier that we weren't going to import them, but it looks like I remembered that there was an error, but I didn't remember how we handled it. So I misspoke earlier. So these are service products, not type. And you might be thinking to yourself, but wait a minute, a MasterCard and a Visa aren't a product. Why are we putting them in here? You'll see in the later step. It'll make sense. Okay. All right. So let's see. Did we get the red box? Yeah. Here's the red box. Okay. So these are not inventory products, so they don't need quantity. So even though it's highlighted in red, you don't have to worry about it. So now we're going to click import. Ta-da! 4 products and services successfully imported. Okay. All right. So now that we have the products imported, now what we have to do is we have to create the sales receipt. I think I failed to say that earlier. That's what we're doing, is we are creating one sales receipt for all of the day's sales. Okay. So, and it's usually the day before, or maybe on Monday you're doing it for Friday. So when I was doing it, my Tuesday was Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday was Friday, and then Friday was Thursday. So I mean, every system's going to be different. You just like have to know like how it works. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to create one sales receipt that has the whole bunch in together. Okay. All right. So now to do that, we're going to click plus new and sales receipt. Okay. So we're on step 9. Now, the point of sale system has the customer name or it doesn't. Like when you're sending invoices, it's important to have the customer name, okay? When you're doing sales receipts and there's a huge volume of them, you don't necessarily need to have the individual customer's name. If you are tracking it in e-commerce, they definitely have the customer's name, but that's going to be tracked in the POS system. You don't have to track it in QBO. Like remember, we're just doing one bunch. And so because of that, we're going to say for our customer, we're just going to call it daily sales. Okay. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to click add new. Okay. Under customer display name, I'm just going to type daily sales. And then we're going to click save. Okay. All right. All sales will be placed in a clearing holding account that we can create in the sales receipt. Why is this? Okay. This is important. Okay. This is important. When you are using some kind of outside system, like let's do e-commerce, for example. We use my example. There is always going to be a delay in the money that comes in and the money that comes out. It's not going to match. So maybe you incur $100 and then $95 gets paid, and then there's this $5 that hangs over to the next day. So the next day it's $105, and then $100 get paid. It's like it never is exactly the same. Don't ask me why. I don't know. When I first started my business, it was driving me crazy. Why don't they include every transaction? I don't know. They don't. They send over 95% of the transactions, and then a handful of the transactions will be delayed. Okay. So there's never going to be a one-to-one relationship like that. So because of that, and we don't have time to, this is not a lesson in e-commerce. We will have some more e-commerce exercise of the weeks, but this is not like a full e-commerce lesson. Okay. But it's because it's not a one-to-one relationship, that's why it has to go into a clearing account. The purpose of a clearing account, if you're new, the purpose of a clearing account, it's for it to be a temporary holding place. If you're familiar with undeposited funds is technically a clearing account. It's a type of clearing account. Okay. Undeposited funds is we receive checks in cash. We hold on to them before we physically go put them in the bank. Okay. And then that holding place is going to be zero, but maybe in the meantime, more checks have come in and more, whatever. Okay. So undeposited funds is a type of clearing account. And so for e-commerce, which is what this is, and really for any, point of sale system like this, you're going to have a similar temporary holding account. But it's not going to be undeposited funds because it's electronic, and undeposited funds is for cash and checks. Okay, so we have a new clearing account. Now, in this example, we're just going to call it, I think I'm going to look at that ahead in the exercise. Yeah. In this example, we're just going to call it clearing account, which is probably not the best thing. Okay. So you probably want to label it more specific to If it's Clover, Clover clearing, or if it's Stripe clearing, or if, like if it's, Shopify clearing, like you want to create it more specifically so you know what to expect as the money comes in and comes out. In this example, they're just going to call it clearing account. But again, we're just learning, and this is from Intuit. Okay? All right. So all sales will be placed in a clearing holding account that we can create in the sales receipt. Okay? So that's what we're doing. Okay? In the deposit too. So here we have daily sales. That's what we just did. And now we have to say, okay, where is this money going? Instead of undeposited funds, it's going to go to a clearing account. And so we're going to hit plus new. Okay. And even though it's not technically a bank account, we're going to call it a bank account. Okay. Even though it's not technically a checking account, we're going to call it a checking account. Okay. That's just checking accounts, just are high transaction volume accounts. Like that's really what makes it a checking account, is that it's high volume. Kelly says the payment processors and the time of the transactions can affect when they are processed, therefore not matching the actual money received. It can be frustrating, especially at period end. Yes, exactly. That's what I was referring to. Okay. So now we're going to call this is what I'm saying, is like probably in real life, you wouldn't call it clearing account. You'd probably be more specific than that, so you know what you're looking at. But for the purposes of this exercise, we're just going to call it clearing account. And then we're going to leave all of this blank, and we're going to click save and close right here. All right, so now we have to fill out the sales receipt. And we're going to do that based on the Z-tape. So it doesn't say that in the exercise that well. It does say it. We're going to use the Z, because I thought about adding it, like adding a note. Okay, now we're using the Z-tape, guys. But, it does say that. It's just not prominent. Okay, so let's take a look at the Z-tape and remind ourselves, okay? So what do we have? We have an 18-inch, we have 10 18-inch garden gnomes, and 25 24-inch garden gnomes. Okay, let me just move that out of the way. So we've got gnomes. Okay, so there's the 18-inch, and the quantity is 10. And then we've got gnomes 24-inch, and the quantity. Notice when I hover over there, it says quantity on hand. How does it know that there's 100 on hand? Do you guys remember? It was in the spreadsheet. When we uploaded the spreadsheet, it said that there were 100 on hand. This is how inventory works, is it keeps track of how many there is at any given time. That's the difference between an inventory product and a non-inventory product. An inventory product, you're keeping track of every time you buy it and sell it. You always know that you have it, how many you have on hand. Just a product you're not keeping track of like how many you have. Okay. All right. So I'm going to, this is 25, and I did see somebody chat. Lynn is asking, Z-tape refers to the paper report from the credit card machine. Zon. I don't know what Zon means. I don't know. Yeah, it's the report from the POS. It's sometimes called Z-out, sometimes like Z-tape. If it's e-commerce, it's not going to be Z at all. It's going to be sales summary. It's basically it's the printout of the previous day's sales, or if you're closing it out, then that day, the report of that day's sales. Okay. All right. So we've got 10. Okay. We've got 25. Okay. And we're checking the sales receipt or the sales tax. Okay. California 8%, 92. Yep. Okay. Now what we're going to do is, because we have already received the money is, where are we going? It's going to the clearing account, not to the bank. Okay. So it's going to this is going in. And so we're going to have money that's going out also. And that's how we're going to use the MasterCard and Visa on the sales receipt. Okay. So now let me look at that Z tape again. Oh, sorry, I have it right here. Okay, here's the Z tape. Okay, that's correct. Okay, we took in $1,000 on the Visa card and $241 on the MasterCard. Okay, so we're going to add the Visa card, and here's the magic. Okay, what we're going to do is we're taking out 1,000. Okay, because the people no longer owe the money. Okay, they no longer owe the money, so we're making it negative. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing with the MasterCard. And this one is going to be negative 241. Okay, now what you want is a $0 sales receipt. Okay, so that's why we use a clearing account is always supposed to eventually be zero. But what did we talk about earlier? There is this hangover extra dollar. Okay, so there is, let's see, hold on. Dun, 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 dun. Amount received, $91. Wait, what happened? What did I do wrong? I love it when things go wrong on a live stream. Because then you know. Oh, yes, we are going to do the adjustment to the overage account, but it's only supposed to be $1. Why does it think that it's 91? It's not calculating the sales tax. It's not included. See, it should have negative 91 and then positive 92 should leave positive $1. But it's not doing that sales tax. Yeah, the sales tax. What the heck, man? Let's see. Somebody suggested we hit the black save button. I don't know. Let me see. Let me click this. Let me click this and then out. Why isn't it totaling that? Okay, somebody suggested we click the black save button. Let's see what happens. I don't know, guys. I do not know why it is not putting the right total on. I mean, like it's not including the sales tax in the total. Now, there is a weird thing. Okay, let me explain a weird thing about sales tax. Okay, so there is a weird thing about sales tax. And so there was an old style of sales tax, which QBO is using, okay? And then a number of years ago, they changed the way that sales tax is done. So in the gym, we have a whole exercise or a whole month that teaches you how to do the new style of sales tax. And most of the time in the gym, we ignore the old style sales tax. Okay, and that's what this is. It's. I think this is related to the fact that it's using that we haven't set up the new style sales tax. It's using the old style sales tax, but I don't know why it's not. Somebody said this does It does this to me routinely. I don't know. What would happen if we made this 0? Nothing. It's like not even recognizing the sales tax. Okay, well, all right. I don't know what to say. Let's I do have a hard stop today at 12:30. So let's do this. Let me just point out in the exercise. I'm going to go back to here. And point out in the exercise toward the end about how to handle this overage. Now, it is unusual. The unusual thing that I did Julie, I did tab a number of times. After adding the over short save and close. Oh, really? Okay. So after, all right. Hold on. Let me go back here to the sales receipt. What did she say? What did you say? After adding in the over short save and close. Okay. Let's do the let's go ahead and do the over short. That's what who Patina said. Is that right? Okay. All right, let's do this again. So let's go and do the over short thing. So here is how to handle, because it is not unusual. The unusual thing that happened just now is that that QBO was not totaling. It did not include the sales tax in the total. We don't know why. That was unusual. A sales company gremlin happens all the time. Okay. What is not unusual is that the totals don't match up. Okay. So, it could be just a matter of a rounding error or whatever, that the totals that QBO comes up with and the total that the POS system comes up with is not the same. And when that happens, then you have to do an adjustment. And so they have taught us how to do an adjustment right here in this exercise. Okay, so if I scroll down to right after step 24, it says everything has been entered as it shows on the report, but the sales receipt is still showing $1. This is what I just said. Maybe it was a rounding error. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to handle this using a new account or a new product and service, and this is going to be a service. Okay, we're going to call it over short item. And then, okay, this needs to go back to an over short expense account. So this is, why do they make you do this this is the first time you're doing this. Why are they making you do this? I don't know. Okay, rant over. Let's just get it done. Okay. In the income field, select add new, because we're going to create a new one. And we're going to select in the income, we're going to do expenses. Joel, we need the exercise posted in the chat again. Okay. And then here we're going to say other business expenses. Okay, and here we're going to call it over short. Oh, if I could type. I can't see the screen and chat at the same time on my phone. Oh my gosh, yes. Don't try and use your phone. Okay. And then we're going to click Save and Close. Okay, so this was just setting us up the product. Save and Close. And now we're going to have this over short item. We're going to untax it. We're going to make it $1. And nope, it still didn't do the math. It still didn't do the math right. It still thinks that it's $90. All right. I don't know what's happening with the sample company, guys. I don't know. The person who said this happens to me regularly, I'm hoping that does not mean does not mean in real life. I'm hoping that you mean it happens to you regularly in the sample company. I don't know, that's so bizarre that it wouldn't calculate correctly. But anyway, we've done our exercise, and let's see. Okay. So I need to wrap up. Like I said, I do have a hard stop, but we need to talk about the marketing prompt. Even though this has been painful today, I think that you guys get the idea of what to do, like what we're doing here. We take the total from a day and we make a $0 sales receipt, and then, yeah, and that's how you do it. Now, this exercise, let me take off screen share for a moment. This exercise stops there, okay? And then you might wonder, well, what happens to the bank feed? Well, they don't cover that in this exercise. So we're going to do, probably not next week, but the week after, or maybe the week after that, we're going to do another exercise similar to this. And we're going to go into a deeper dive into more e-commerce stuff and kind of how it works. So that's probably not next week, but probably the week after that, 9/20. Remember, I always send the agenda. I always send it. I like to send it the day before, but unfortunately, I usually send it the morning of. Sometimes I send it like 5 minutes before. And anyway, so I always send the agenda. So if you're not getting the agenda, check your email. If you don't find it in sales junk or promotions and you've opted out, or you're bouncing, or like there's a problem, email support@fastandeasyqbo.com. Okay. Let me go back quickly to the marketing prompt. I don't have time to go over my big speech about that because I have 2 other quick announcements. Okay, let's go back to the exercise prompt. Okay, or the exercise of the week. All right, thank you, Michael. Debbie says minus $1 and then save, go back and it'll be 0. Oh my gosh. Okay. Whatever. So frustrating, QBO. We have a love-hate relationship with QBO. All right. So let's talk about the marketing prompt. One of the benefits of coming to the live stream and having a subscription to the gym is that you get marketing prompts. And the reason that we did this was I just kept hearing, I know that I'm supposed to post on social media, but I don't know what to say. Well, here's what you say, guys. Here's what you guys say. You can always talk about something new that you just learned. So let me make it a smidge bigger. Okay. So here is the marketing prompt for today. Okay. Now we are now calling, I'm going to talk about this in a second, the Get Clients cohort that's going on. We decided for the purposes of the cohort to call them QBO Quick Tips. And so we're now changing this a little bit so that it says now QBO Quick Tips. Okay. So here's what you would post in LinkedIn or whatever. Your QBO Quick Tip. If you have a retail establishment such as a restaurant, salon, or even e-commerce, then you're probably tracking sales outside of QuickBooks Online. But you need to get that data inside QBO as well. Notice I said QBO here and I called it here, even though I typically suggest that you say QuickBooks Online because people don't know when they see QBO. But I did say QBO. I did say QuickBooks Online here, so I think that's okay. But you need to get that data inside QBO as well, because there is more to your business than just sales. Like what? We talked about that earlier. Expenses, reports, banking data. Okay. There are super easy and efficient ways to do this. Ha ha, when QBO works. It just takes a bit of setup. Let's talk and I can show you. Okay? All right. So that is the marketing prompt that you can use. I don't know, Joel, if you have I didn't put the link in the spreadsheet, but it's www.fastandeasyqbo.com/321. It is the only marketing method that we teach how to market, because like we're not a marketing company. And so this is the only marketing method that I teach, is this 3-2-1 method. So a couple of weeks ago, I celebrated my birthday. If you guys are new, you didn't know, and if you weren't around. And every year on my birthday, I do a big giveaway. I do like this Grant-A-Wish program. And two things came out of that, of the wishing. Despite the fact that I said, I want, to when you made your wish, it had to be something that I could grant. we had two overwhelming requests. One of them was for clients. We had somebody say that they wanted 20 clients. How am I supposed to give you 20 clients? I can't just hand you 20 clients. Or any clients for that matter. And then the other thing is that that they wanted confidence. Okay, well, the gym is designed to give you confidence. Like that's the purpose of that's why we created the gym, was to give you confidence. That's your confidence in skills. But we're still trying to help you get over your obstacles and deal with your emotions. So on September 1st, September 2nd, really, it was Labor Day, we started a Get Clients cohort, okay? So this is for the month of September. We are banding together. We are learning, we're applying the 3-2-1 method. We're actually getting over our stuff, getting out there and doing the thing that will get you clients, okay? So we started that on September 2nd. I don't know that we're ever going to do it again. Okay. We'll see. We've got a lot of things in the works. We'll see. But at this point, I am not anticipating that we will ever do it again. Okay. So if you want to join us, you'd be a week late, but you could still be part of it and be participating in it. And so Joel will put the link to the cohort. It's basically the same, fastandeasyqbo.com/cohort. I'm so creative, okay? And so you can join the cohort. And Lindsay Key, who's with us today, she manages that, and she's keeping everybody accountable. She taught people how to use Canva, which you can watch the recording of that, so you can use the marketing prompts and create these branded quick tips for you to we're keeping people accountable to actually doing the thing. Okay. The other thing is, in addition to the cohort, is next week on Tuesday, September 10th, from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern, we are having a very special workshop. Okay. This is not a sit and listen workshop. Okay. So some of it will be that, because he's going to lay the groundwork first and help you understand what you're doing and why it's so powerful. But you're going to actually get up and actually move and learn actual physical exercises with your body that will help increase your confidence. So one of the things that you may have heard that your thoughts come from your emotions. what you may not realize is that your emotions come from your body, okay? So when you feel anxious, right? When you feel nervous, when you feel scared, okay? That's actually a feeling inside of your body. And there are things that you can do inside of your body. You can move your body in a certain way that will help you feel confident and feel like you can actually take on the world and that nothing can touch you. And so Brian Traskos is going to come and he's going to teach us the science behind this, and he's going to teach us the actual exercises that we can do. So get dressed, ready to move. It's on February 10th. It costs $27, okay? Which is way less than it cost me to bring Brian in here. So this is my gift to you, but you can help offset it by paying $27. And you're going to get anybody who signs up will get the recording to be able to use anytime. So be able to replay it and do the exercise again. It is September 10th. So next Tuesday, September 10th. So anybody, you can get the recording, but you have to sign up beforehand. We're not selling the recording afterwards. So this is only for people that sign up now, can get the recording, then you can have it always. It is 2 to 4 p.m. And the details, if you go to the link that Joel put in the chat, the details are there, okay? All right, so that's it. And it is 2 to 4 p.m. February 10th, no, not February 10th, September 10th. September 10th, next Tuesday, in like 4 days. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, okay? September 10th, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, okay? So if you register, you get a link, you'll be able to join us. You'll get the link, the recording, so that you can do those exercises anytime. Anytime you are feeling anxious and you want to feel powerful, then you can do those exercises. The cohort is ongoing. There are no live calls. We had one live call on Monday. We might have a wrap-up call at the end of the month. That's not for sure. We don't know that. But there's no it's just posting inside the group and keeping accountable. So there's no live call aspect to it. All right. Okay. I think we're good to go. If I pay $27, yes. If I pay $27 and cannot attend during that time, will I still get the recording? Yes. Everyone that pays in advance will get the recording, okay? Whether you come or not, you're going to get the recording in advance, okay? I mean, not the recording in advance, but if you pay in advance, you get the recording. We are not selling the recording afterwards, okay? So the only way to get the recording is to buy it between now and Tuesday, okay? We're not selling the recording afterwards, okay? All right. Hopefully I have answered all of your questions. Let me just pull up this other thing. Let me check. Oh, I know because there's a delay from when it pops up on my screen. Okay. That is not the right thing that I pulled up. Okay. Margie, can you have support to please check your email about the mini combo that I sent? Yes, we always strive to get back to you within 24 hours. So our typical response time is under 3 hours, but okay. All right. I think I've got everything. All right, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you on Monday for Mindset Monday. And next Friday, I already know because we had a request for this, so I'm going to want to make sure and address it next Friday, is we're going to be going over how to handle a bounced check, okay? And by the way, I forgot to do a big woohoo. We're finally done with the Pro Advisor challenges. So we're done with the Pro Advisor challenges. Now we're going to move on to new cool stuff. And I'm excited about that. And oh my gosh, so many other things. And one of them is the reason I have to hop off this call and get on to another one. So, all right, you guys take care. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you later. I can't wait to hear your success story.